To say that the Sailor Moon franchise revival has had a rocky start would be putting it mildly. Sailor Moon Crystal, the reboot series that was to kick off the 20th anniversary, was delayed for years and was eventually put out as a web animation in 2014. I don't know what the production was like or whatever, but it was evident that the budget was not there. And to top it off, the series was placed into the hands of someone who admittedly wasn't the most knowledgeable of the franchise. I made videos reviewing the first few episodes of Sailor Moon Crystal, and I tried to be optimistic at first. But as the newness died down, so did my optimism. So I gave up, and I wasn't the only one. But then Season 3 came along. When the trailer for Sailor Moon Crystal Season 3 dropped, I was hyped. It looked good. The character designs by Akira Takahashi, who is most known for doing the character designs for Precure and Aikatsu, was so much cuter. The transformation sequences stopped trying to imitate Precure CGI without the Precure budget or experience. And the opening theme song was good. We got 3 different versions, one of them sung by Mitsuko Hori, the voice actress of Sailor Galaxia, so nostalgia points. The fandom was revitalized. Oh my diddy, Sailor Moon was back and better than before. For the first 2 seasons of Crystal, we mocked the janky animations because, well, look at it. Whole entire blogs were made just to post screen caps from it. Then there were the questionable adaptation choices. I mean, I can excuse wonky animation, but I draw the line at stiff storytelling. Now, with Season 3, the story was solid, the animation was crisp. I was actually excited every week to watch a new episode. There was this joke going around the fandom that a Sailor Moon fan at Toei swapped the budget for the current Precure season with Sailor Moon Crystal. And whoever this brave soul was, they're the real MVP. The truth was not too far off from the joke. The series was now being directed by Chiaki Kon, who had worked on 2 Precure series and directed the Happiness Charge Precure movie, and she just so happened to be a big fan of Sailor Moon back in the day. She was probably busy working on Happiness Charge Precure at the time and took a look to see what was happening with Sailor Moon Crystal and said, "Oh hell no," and promptly took over. Seriously though, Chiaki Kon is great and she has worked on a lot of series as either a storyboard artist or director. Bleach, Naruto Shippuden, Junjo Romantica, Midori Days. If you've watched Midori Days, please comment because that anime was something else. And most recently, Kon directed The Way of the House Husband. As far as the fandom was concerned, Chiaki Kon saved Sailor Moon Crystal. I know I was looking forward to the 4th season, which would focus on the Dead Moon Circus dream arc since Miss Kon wasn't going anywhere. But hold up, wait a minute. In came the announcement that the dream arc wouldn't be a new season, it would be adapted into 2 movies entitled Sailor Moon Eternal. The good news was that Chiaki Kon would be directing the movies and that Kazuko Tadano, who did the character designs for season 1 and 2 of the 90s anime, would be returning to do the character designs for the movie. That must have been really cool for Chiaki Kon. She said that Sailor Moon and Saint Seiya were her favorite shows from Toei, and now she was working with Kazuko Tadano, who had worked on both of those series. Now, the Dream Arc, also known as Super S in the 90s anime, was one of my least favorite arcs. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of things I love about it to this day, namely the animal trio, especially my baby Fish Eye. But it deviated so much from the manga in a way that wasn't all that interesting to me compared to the other seasons. I was really interested in Queen Nehelenia being a big threat that came before Queen Beryl's Dark Kingdom, and there was a greater influence of Greek and Roman mythology in this arc, with Helios, Pegasus, the Maenads, and Elysion. Plus, all the solar system Sailor Senshi, wow that's a tongue twister, were reunited and there was the introduction of 4 new ones, so I patiently waited for the English release of the movies, and surprisingly Netflix was the one to deliver. So, let's talk about Sailor Moon Eternal. Part 1 places us, I'm guessing, 1 year after the events of Season 3. The girls have passed their exams and are now in high school, which means they are 16 years old, and Mamoru has just started uni, so he's 18. Chibiusa is getting ready to go back to the future, but the gang have decided to get together and observe the solar eclipse first. The eclipse opens the door for a new enemy to appear, the Dead Moon Circus, led by Zirconia and Queen Nehelenia. Later on, Chibiusa is visited by a Pegasus named Helios in her dream, who asks her to help break the seal of the golden crystal. Gina's Sailor Senshi are thinking about their future and achieving their dreams, and of course, Mamoru becomes sick. Then a bunch of hijinks ensue, like body swapping, overcoming personal hardships, and dealing with the new enemies, namely the Amazonas Quartet and the Animal Trio. Part 2 opens up with the Outer Sailor Soldier. The four of them are living their best domestic life together, with Michiru, Haruka, and Setsuna doing their best to raise the rapidly aging Hotaru. Once they all get their powers back to transform, they reunite with the others, just in time too, because the enemy has taken over Tokyo. We learn that the leader of the Dead Moon Circus, Queen Nehelenia, existed on the dark side of the moon and put a curse on Princess Serenity, dooming the Silver Millennium. Helios the Pegasus is actually a priest that used to reside in Elysion, the golden kingdom of Earth, and he and the Maenads were the caretakers of the land. Helios and Elysion are connected to Prince Endymion, and since Elysion and Helios are in danger, it explains why Mamoru is sick. To save everyone, they need to awaken the Golden Crystal, Earth's equivalent to the Silver Moon Crystal. All 10 Sailor Senshi and Tuxedo Mask use their planetary crystals to give Sailor Moon a new power-up so she can upgrade to Eternal Sailor Moon. The Mooncats are also there for support, all in their human forms. It's so cute. Everyone combines their power, and Eternal Sailor Moon deals the final blow to Queen Nehelenia. The Earth, Helios, Elysion, all of them are saved, and Sailor Saturn reveals that the Amazon girls are actually the asteroid Senshi, and they are Sailor Chibi Moon's protectors. They were awakened prematurely and corrupted by zirconia, but they're okay now and they're going back to the Amazon to sleep for a few centuries. Reunited and stronger than ever, the Sailor Senshi vow to protect everyone, and the movie ends with Usagi staring up at the sky. So the animation was really beautiful. The character design were pleasing to the eye. Kazuko Tadano is a prolific animator. If there was an anime or video game from the 90s that you thought looked a little bit too close to Sailor Moon, then it was probably because Tadano did the character design. The last anime I remember watching that she worked on was Petite Princess Yusi, which came out in 2002. So I was looking forward to see how her style had developed over the decade, especially with Sailor Moon, because that's damn near 30 years apart. I know some were asking why her and not Ikuko Ito. I remember people were begging for her return during the dark days of Crystal Season 1 and 2. Also, Ito's style is used the most for merchandise, so I get why fans like it a lot, but I think more people are used to Tadano's style. Ito was probably busy, who knows, I love both of their work, okay? It was also really cool to see some of my favorite moments in the manga get animated. The Sailor Asteroid Quartet, oh my days, just seeing them together in their sailor suits, it looks so cute. I want more of them, okay? Luna, Artemis, and Diana in their humanoid forms all looked so beautiful, the whole cat family together. Bless. All in all, it was pretty faithful to the manga, and that was good, but that's also the problem. These movies just felt overstuffed. The dream arc consists of 11 chapters, and trying to fit all of that into 2 hours and 42 minutes meant that it was bound to suffer. That was one of my major concerns when it was first announced that the arc will be turned into a movie instead of a full 13-episode season like the Infinity arc that preceded it. There are a lot of characters in Sailor Moon. There isn't going to be enough time to flesh out everyone in a plot-heavy movie. This story just didn't fit due to the episodic nature of the source material. In part 1, the inner senshi get like 7 to 8 minutes devoted to their separate spiritual journey of character development, and it was happening one after the other, with a small break to check in on Usagi, Mamoru, and Chibiusa, all the villains. It became quite repetitive, and the pacing just felt chaotic. I kept thinking to myself how I would love to have seen that subplot be explored and expanded on in a full 25-minute episode. I would have liked to see how Minako really dealt with and overcame her insecurities of feeling like an ineffective leader, how Ami felt about her parents' divorce, Makoto's loneliness at being orphaned and picturing a future idyllic family life where she owns a bakery and flower shop, and Rei dealing with her distrust of men due to her father's coldness, and whether she truly wants to take over the shrine from her grandfather or not. Like, every time I was getting interested in what was going on, it was like as if someone hit fast forward. The second film had the exact same problem. A quarter of the film was focused on reintroducing us to the outer senshi. I was really enjoying the cute domestic moment with all 4 of them, but then it was yanked away because we need to get you all dressed and ready to go and help the girls, okay? There's 80 minutes per movie, we need to wrap this shit up. So here comes the info dumping and exposition and characters just explaining their innermost thoughts, telling us the lore and backstory with quick flashbacks. You know what this was? It was a recap movie. For those who don't know, sometimes an anime series gets a movie that condenses the entire plot of the show. It's done in a way to bring in new audience or to catch up fans in time for a sequel movie. Death Note did it, so did Madoka Magica and a bunch of others. Sailor Moon Eternal felt like a recap movie of a series that was never made. On top of that, it felt like it was speed running so we can jump into Sailor Moon Stars. Maybe in time for the 30th anniversary of the 90s anime, who knows. The soundtrack wasn't very memorable either, which was disappointing. I really liked the music in season 3. I wish Anza's version of Rikishu Ikimasho wasn't confined to the ending credits. Momiro Clover are cute, and there's 5 of them. Moon Color Shine On was a cute song, but it wasn't really a hit for me. The last fight against Nehelenia was Sailor Senshi combining their powers to wipe out the enemy, which is pretty standard. I liked it, but Shine On was playing, so yeah. Maybe if like La Soldier by the cast of the most recent musicals was used instead, it would have had a bigger impact on me. Or even if New Moon from season 3 was used. I wouldn't have minded if the Momiro Clover version was used either. And let's talk about the action moments, or lack thereof. Repetitive. They wore the hell out of Moon Gorgeous Meditation. I was hoping for something big and dramatic after seeing what season 3 of Crystal delivered. I wanted a brawl in the streets of Juban against the Amazon Quartet. They didn't have to be throwing hands like how they do in Precure, but something more than what we got, which was an updated, polished version of their attacks. Sailor Moon Eternal Part 1 and 2 are the first movies in the franchise since 1995. I decided to go back to watch all 3 of the old movies from the 90s. Yes, they have their flaws. They are far from perfect, but they worked because they were side stories that took place in a vague area of the anime's timeline. They are not completely beholden to the canon of the series, and were wholly original stories which allow for the filmmakers to play around, have fun, and focus on certain characters. The more dreamy or action-heavy moments were fun, beautiful, and bold. They elevated what we saw from the show. We could spend time on those scenes because we didn't have to explain a very important plot point that took place over the course of 3 chapters in the manga. The movie as a side story format of an anime series has worked for a lot of titles. Like, could you imagine if the York New City arc from Hunter x Hunter was turned into a 2-part movie instead? Yeah. At the end of part 2, they talk about star seeds and shining stars inside everybody. Those are lines taken from the Sailor Stars song written by Nako Takeuchi. The 20th anniversary has been something. The merch has been nice, the re-release of the manga and even the full color version were welcomed. The musicals were wonderful, the 3rd season was great, we got a fun mobile game that was snatched away too soon. And there was the announcement of Sailor Moon on Ice, which I look forward to seeing. December 28th, 2021 will mark the 30th anniversary of the manga, and March 7th, 2022 will be the 30th anniversary of the anime. So what does this all mean for Sailor Moon Stars? And Sailor Moon as a whole? Will the lukewarm response mean that the final arc will also be a 2-part movie? Or will it be a TV series with half of the episode order? Will Chiaki-kun stay on as series director? I really hope she does. I went back to watch an old video of me talking about what I would like to see in Sailor Moon Crystal. I didn't get everything I hoped for, unfortunately, although I'm still holding out for a Sailor V special. 9 years later, what I want for Sailor Moon Crystal is for it to finish strong. Go out with a big bang and give it the ending that is fitting for the iconic magical girl. The ending that it deserves. As long as the last scene leaves me shedding a tear and or smiling, I'll be satisfied. Thank you for watching yet another video of me being a big time Sailor Moon fangirl. Did you watch the movie now available on Netflix? And what did you think of it? And most importantly, what do you think will happen with the final arc? Who knows? I don't promo myself often, but I do have a Patreon. It's there if you're interested in it. Yeah, so I'm still bad at these outros, and you'd think I'd be better by now, but no. Goodbye.